Hey guys, it's Kate, and I hope you're having a great day. I thought it had been a while since I did an art journal, and I have some of these sort of random paper scraps left over from a couple of other art projects that I did recently, and these are actually from the pile of papers that we made together in another video. So I figured I would get these pasted down in my art journal, and then we can go from there and see what happens. I also have some little decals and stuff that, oops, I'm going to use my glue stick today, by the way. But I also have some other little decals and stuff from my Temu haul that I think I'd like to also use in this, and maybe for the first time in ages, or maybe ever, I'm going to add a little sentiment to my journal page too. So it's going to be nice to kind of break this out again and have some fun. So I'm going to start with this. If I can get my stuff together, I'm going to start with this bigger piece, and this is where I had cut out some circles with my little cutting tool, and I really like the kind of shapes left behind on this. So I wanted to just use my leftover chunk, and I'm going to make sure this is down pretty well, and I'm not doing matte medium, although you can use Mod Podge, whatever you have on hand. You can also kind of go over it all afterward to seal it in. Right now I'm just making sure I'm getting my edges pretty well, and the glue stick, it does its job, and I don't have to wait a long time for things to dry. And also I wanted to test it with this piece of deli paper collage, because this is sort of transparent, and when you use it with matte medium it gets really transparent, and I'm curious to see how it acts with the glue stick, because part of the beauty of the deli paper with matte medium is that when you kind of go over the top of it again, it really makes it blend in with your paint. But the glue stick really doesn't do a bad job, and the top of it is still dry. Probably, well, yeah, the glue stick's not really going to do anything over the top, but it's reasonably transparent, so I don't mind that. So I'm just going to take a minute and get the rest of these pieces down, not really concentrating on where they're going specifically. I'm just going to find some opportunities in this collage, and then we're going to go over with paint. So let's get started. All right, I'm back, and I've got my collage paper down, and I grabbed my fine liner just to make some little marks on my paper, and I'm just gonna kind of meander around with my pen, and I'm just gonna go around some of these natural shapes and not really paying much attention, but I like this sort of circle theme, so I might kind of continue some of that and almost like make up the rest of the shape that was left behind. So I'm just going to just make some doodle marks here, and I'm not going to do too many, but I really like it when you have that sort of color peeking through and the lines peeking through and just some little texture elements. So we'll have that, and then I'm going to grab a couple of stencils. So I've got this circle one here. It's just basic dots, and I have a well-used makeup brush here. And I'm going to pick a color, and I think what I might do is grab one of my browns. So let's see what we have. I've got this dark brown here. This is brown iron oxide. And I'm going to make kind of a fine pattern. And it's not going to be, I don't know, super solid. I'm going to grab some paint on my little makeup sponge and just kind of spread it around here and add some texture in and some pattern. And I'm also going to let it go kind of off my page a little bit. That way it's not just sort of, I don't know, you won't see the border of the stencil. I don't want to have that happen. So I like that. I'm going to kind of come in this way, I think. And have some more color on here. And again, not filling in every single thing, but I like that texture a lot. I also have this other one with some letters, and I think what I'm going to do with this one is add some pink back into here. And I've got this lavender color, and I think that'll work really nicely. I'm going to see if I can get some more use out of this sponge. I'm trying to find some good spots where it's not kind of hard with paint. Let's see how this looks. Yeah. All right. Let's see about adding some up here in sort of the cleaner white area so you can see that color better. I think a fresh one is just going to work better. I can't seem to get it to go into my letters, so yeah, this is way better. And like I said, I'm focusing on getting it definitely into the whiter spots. This is a busy pattern right now, but we're going to keep adding layers and knock it back. Add some more, knock it back again, and we'll end up with a really neat little journal page. I'm going to take some yellow and add it to this brown and get it mixed up a bit. I want to kind of darken it a bit, but I want it to be pretty bright and more of like a tan color, and kind of warm it up a bit. I'm going to take my little scrubby brush here and just kind of add some pops of a little bit more of a neutral kind of, it almost looks a little bit like an olive green sort of color, but I like how that looks in front of the sort of pinks and browns. Yeah. Maybe a little bit more of just the plain yellow, and I'm going to add it just around a few of these spots. And that'll give us a little bit of brightness. And I'm even going over some of this stenciled area that has dried a little bit. And it's acting as a bit of a glaze. It's kind of funny. It's like crazy bright compared to the rest of it. It almost looks like a highlighter, but once you kind of tone it down a little bit and cover it again, it just has like this nice little pop of color that comes right out from the page. All right, I think I'm going to finish there so I don't have yellow taking over the whole thing. And then I'm going to come into this princess pink And this is a really nice light pink color. And it's pretty opaque. It's got a lot of white in it. And so I'm going to grab my silicone tool and start blocking in a little bit here and there. And it's going to be a bit of a glaze, but I'm going to go heavier in some spots, just kind of play around with the transparency and opacity a bit. So I'm going to kind of come in from this corner and just play around with the different marks that this tool can make. Just like this. I'm trying to kind of stay away from being completely geometric. I want it to be a little bit more organic with my coverage and marks that I'm putting on here. And I'm also going over some of this yellow because you'll still be able to see it kind of coming through, but it won't be quite so in your face. And I really like it over that yellow. That's really pretty to me. So I think I'm going to keep on just adding a bit here and there. Let me grab a little bit more. Or a lot more. Came out a little bit fast. And then keep on sort of just playing with my marks. And then I'm going to pick a few spots and come in even heavier, almost like I'm spackling. And I'm pressing down really lightly with my tool so that I can put down a thicker layer of paint. And so this is going to push some of this texture into the background. It's going to allow some to still show through. And then you're also going to get your stronger kind of pops of color here. And I like that a lot. Okay. I'm going to let this kind of, I don't know, dry just a little bit for a few minutes and I'll be right back. All right, I'm going to use my stencil again, but with the purple paint, this lavender color. And I'm going to use some more of, I'm going to put down some more of these circles. And I'm going to do it kind of over some of these pink spots just to add a little bit of texture. I'm not going to go overboard on this. I just want to put a little bit. And I'm just going to kind of go through a little and just a tiny bit up here. And I think that'll be good. Okay. Now I've got this here. I think I'd like to go in with some white. And I'm just going to put a little bit out here onto my plate, my handy mixing plate. And I'm going to go back in with this brush. And I'm just going to kind of add some extra brightness here. And I'm just going to try a little bit and kind of see how it looks. And maybe come in through some of these darker circle areas where it's still a little bit busy. And just kind of let it blend out. I'm going to maybe start small here and just go from there. Cover up a little bit more of this yellow and add some brightness. And my bottom layer is pretty dry, so I don't have to worry about smearing any more paint or anything like that. Let's see, how about right here? It's kind of just dry brushing. Okay. So I have another little stencil here, and it's this one, and I think I might just have some of these little flowers coming up from the bottom. So I am going to, let's see, I'm going to mix a little bit of a brighter pink here so that we have some more contrast. And I'm going to grab my little sponge, and I might add some white into this also, just to brighten it up a little bit. And I'm going to come in and add these pink flower elements from my stencil. And I'm just kind of rubbing in. I want to get a pretty decent coat on here, and pretty solid. So I'm just making sure I really get the paint in there. I really like working with these pinks right now. They're just calling out to me, I guess. All right, let's see how that looks. I like that. That looks pretty good. I think, what I might do, I'm going to let that go. I think I'm going to add some more contrast by going over that around it with some of my black pen. But in the meantime, I have these little sort of vintage tags. So I am going to kind of put these in a few little spots too. And I am just going to use a little bit of my matte medium. So I'm going to put this just right on my page in a couple of spots. And I'm going to use my little silicone tool. The rest of this is mostly all dry, so I'm just going to kind of place them in some random spots. And I'm just going to go over it to kind of seal it in. And I've got 3 of them. So I'm just going to put them down where it seems like a good spot. I'll have one right there. And just making sure it gets put down pretty well. And how about one right down here? And they're all a little bit different. These I got on that Temu haul. So they're all kind of the same color, but they have different words and patterns on them. So I'm just going to use some of my excess on here. Make sure these are glued down pretty well. And just kind of get the rest off my tool. All right. I've got my fine liner out again. And I'm just going to kind of outline some of these flower shapes. That way we have a little bit more contrast. And I don't know if I will do all of them, but let's just see how it looks. I definitely want to get these bigger flowers and some of these leaves and just add some of that darkness that we like. I think this looks pretty good so far. Kind of adds a little bit of a sketchy element. And I'm not really being careful around these or anything. Just adding some extra contrast down here. Okay, I guess I'm going to do all of them. So we'll just do that. Trying to find all my marks. Okay, I'm going to get my silicone tool again, and I'm going to add some more coverage to this. It's still a little bit busy for me, so I'm just going to grab my tool, do some more coverage. I'm even going to go over some of these little pieces that we were working with. That way they're kind of sort of put into the background a little bit too. I'm also going to grab some more of that pink and just let it kind of blend everything back a bit. Just like this. I'm going to come down here and also do this one. And that way it'll kind of hide some of those edges. Okay, next, I've got my sentiment chosen. It says, "Life is like a book that must be read one page at a time," by Pearl S. Buck. And I also grabbed a couple of these little floral elements. These are some dried roses, and these are just a couple of little random ones. And so I got these to put on here. They're just little plastic die cuts. And so I'm going to put them on with my matte medium, and they're transparent, so they will, be able to kind of blend in to the background. And I think I'm going to start by putting one up here. And just get that stuck down and put my medium over it to seal it in. Now that just blends right into my page, just like I want it to. The other one, I think I'm going to put right here over this tag, like so. And I might where do I want to put this one? I think I like it maybe right here. Okay, let me grab a little bit more matte medium and get this on here. And then grab my flowers. These are like really pretty dried roses. And so I'm just going to get my medium over these. And it will probably knock back a little bit of that kind of plasticky shine. So you'll just see the transparent image. Okay, then I'm going to grab this sticker off the backing. And you don't even really have to. I mean, you can just use it as is. And I think I'm going to put it right here. And that has a really nice stick. All right. And lastly, I'm just going to cover a little bit of these stems up here too. And then I might outline this sticker a bit and let this kind of come out and blend out. And I'm just grabbing some of the leftover paint that's on my plate. So now I'm just sort of outlining a few of my elements, getting everything to kind of blend together, look a little bit more cohesive. Knock back a little bit more of this yellow over here, and then blend this into the white and let things kind of stand out. I'm not going to do that. Had second thoughts, so I'm just going to cover this back up. Seems a little bit, I don't know, top heavy maybe. Okay, I grabbed one more little piece and I'm going to put this on last. I just felt like I needed something down here. I've got 3 pieces, 4 pieces up there, including the sentiment, and so I just want something down here with the rest of the stuff that kind of goes with what we've already got. So I'm going to just attach this piece here with the matte medium. And I think that looks a little bit better. All right, this still has to finish drying, but I'm going to give you the close-up for now, and this we will finish off our art journal today. So I loved using these new pieces. They stick very well. This will clear up once it dries because it is matte medium. It will dry clear, but I really love these little pieces, and so I don't know. I feel like this could use more, but I'm just going to end it for now. And maybe we'll do another sort of revisit and fix the page later. But I like how it's turning out. If it's not done. I don't know. Maybe it's done. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video today. If you have little elements and stuff that you might like to play with, I hope you grabbed them and followed along with me or did something of your own. And thank you so much for watching today. And until next time, keep creating.